done with the exit summary, then we kind of, let's say, move forward with saying technical details. Okay, here what we do is that we try to explain the incident in a more technical way rather than layman terms. And what we do is that we attach the, let's say, the data, the log file, maybe, uh, or let's say some other proof in that doc file. Okay, what all? So what happened is that when the higher security leadership reads the report, they won't actually most of the time have a time to kind of read the technical details. So that's the reason why executive summary at the top, it's in kind of a layman term, and it is very short and crisp. So the security team, so the higher leadership kind of quickly know what this incident is kind of happening right now in the company. Okay, so this is executive summary, and then we kind of write the technical details in much more background. And then maybe later what we do is that we have a section called recommendation. In the recommendation, what we do is like we recommend the service team what all things they can kind of do to avoid similar kind of incident in future. Okay, so this is all about kind of like recommendation stage. What all things happen in the report writing. I hope this answers your question, right? Any other clarification on the report writing part?
No, sir.
Okay, so thing is that maybe later tomorrow I will showcase you a report, a real report maybe, and maybe we'll discuss about the format of the report in much more detail. But one of the key skills that is required over here is the communication skills. No matter how better you handle the case, but if the communication is not strong, and let's the report is not up to the par, the English language used is like a little bit confusing. So it will create a more confusion to the leadership. Okay, and your whole work that you did to contain that incident will not get credit because the communication was not great. Okay, so you need to be also be good at the communication part, even if you agree or disagree. Okay, whenever you're writing a report. So that's all about the 6 stages of the incident response cycle. Okay, and now thing is that let me just quickly see what all thing we'd like to discuss today. So what we do, guys, is that now we let's say we discuss certain things. Let me just see my notes. Okay, so now there are 2 more things in the containment stage. Okay, in the containment stage there is one of the term is called containment and intelligence development. So this is something what we do in the containment stage too. Okay, so let's give an example what I mean from like containment and intelligence development. Okay, so what we do is that in the intelligence development, just kind of quickly so let's say this is intelligence. It's not writing up here. Give me 1 second. So thing is that when we contain any kind of incident, we also need to gather the intelligence, like how to contain that malware from kind of spreading and all. Okay. So what we do, so what will happen is that in the containment incident, it's not just that, okay, we go ahead and kind of block execute the EDR and quarantine the host. We just plug out the network cable. We also need to kind of gather a lot of intelligence from the attack. Okay. So the thing is that in the intelligence part, there are a lot of things that we need to kind of figure out. So the first thing is definitely like tools, techniques that has been used by the attacker. Okay, we try to kind of find out those in the intelligence part. We try to understand what's the intention of the adversary. Okay, that is one of the most important part that we need to kind of figure out. What's the intention? Does the adversary is just trying to install a coin miner? That's the intention, or is it that the malware, the adversary is trying to kind of execute a ransomware attack or doing a data exfiltration? So this is something we try to kind of in the intelligence development, we try to kind of gather this kind of this kind of information. Like we try to understand the intention of the adversary, and this is one of the most important thing that leadership will normally ask, like what are the intention of the adversary. We need to figure that out as soon as possible in the intelligence part. The next thing is like, let's say, IOC development. Okay, we try to kind of make certain IOCs from the malware, such that when we contain the incident, we have certain signatures. Let's say, or let's say when we are scoping, like how many incident, how many computer has been affected. So we can use these IOCs that we have developed in the intelligence part to kind of figure those out. Let's say one of the IOC is the IP address of the C2 server. So using this, we can kind of in the containment stage, what we can do is that we can scope the impact, how many systems were impacted by that malware, and then what we do is that we put a blocking in the malware in the IDS or IPS, let's say for an example. Okay, so there are a lot of things that happen in the intelligence development, and apart from that, we also kind of sometimes we try to identify the campaign. So if you recall, earlier I was talking about who are our enemies, like who are the threat actors, like for example APG28, who are China-based hackers. So we also need to know that, okay, this adversary, do they belong to any kind of group? And what we can do is that we can take a help from threat intel team if it is there, and ask them to kind of share those information with us. Okay, so this all thing happened in the intelligence development part. Now, guys, what I will be doing is that my plan is that we had a lot of theories today, and I hope you guys agree that it's quite important to kind of understand these all things so that we can kind of handle any kind of incident. So one of the things that I normally use is that whenever there's an incident, and let's say I go black, for an example, I'm not knowing anything like how to approach this incident. So the only thing I do is that I go to the basics. Okay, and by basic I mean is that I try to follow the incident stage life cycle, and then try to kind of handle any kind of incident. It's not that, because sometimes what happens is that you will not be having a lot of good details about the incident, or maybe let's say you forget how to execute a tool or something like that. So in that case, what you do is that you always kind of go to the basics and try to handle any incident using this incident life cycle. You don't like, well, the other thing is that once you do the identification, you don't directly jump to the eradication. Okay, you need to kind of do the containment stage and then kind of move forward along with this cycle. So you need to perform the steps using this cycle. You can't jump from one stage to the other directly and skipping the middle part. Okay, so I hope this is all clear to you guys. And what I'll be doing now is that my plan is that we will kind of wind up the call for today. Okay, and tomorrow we'll kind of let's say we continue with the further discussion. So the other thing is that this incident response part is little bit like kind of more theory. So I'm just giving you a first time notification. So expect more theory in this part, because thing is and the theory I mean is that, again, like I will be kind of like once I'm done with kind of explaining this kind of things, like what all terms means and all, what all the terms that is kind of used in an incident response cycle, then what I will do is that I will give you certain kind of incident, and I will try to kind of ask you guys, okay, what all things you will be kind of doing at every stage of cycle. Let's say in the preparation stage or in the identification stage or continuous stage, what are the things that you will be kind of doing at every stage of cycle. So I have certain 4 to 5 incidents that I'll be kind of asking you guys, and will asking, okay, what Phil, tell me all the things that you will do at every kind of stage to kind of contain that incident or close the incident going forward. Okay, so I hope this is really interesting, and there's a little bit theory, but it can't be avoided in the incident response cycle. But once we are done with the incident response cycle, the responsive part is quite interesting. It will be mostly the lab part, where we'll try to investigate a lot of artifacts from the host that I'll be kind of sharing that to you before the class. Okay, so let's wind up for today. If you guys have any questions, you can kind of ask me, or we kind of meet again tomorrow. Okay, so
sir,
yeah, yes.
so lastly,
yeah,
sir, we were talking about this containment part, sir. So
yes,
as a SOC team, when an alert has arisen, we will be reporting to the client, and they will be doing their action from there.